Chi. Get the yayo.
Get the yayo.
At just 22 years old, Caitlin Clark has already redefined the landscape of women's basketball.
Facts.
First in the league in fast break points.
Swap.
On a deep three.
Deep.
During her college career, she shattered numerous records, including becoming the all-time leading scorer in both men's and women's basketball.
It's crazy.
History.
Swap. Deep.
The all-time leading scorer.
It's crazy.
In an era where many basketball fans look over women's basketball, Caitlin Clark is filling stadiums, drawing people from across the country who travel hours just to witness her play. It's no
I could agree with that statement right there. I was totally overlooking women's basketball until she came into the game. She became must-see TV real quick.
Real quick, because, I mean, they've been playing for years, and, you know, I see them as I see it.
Yeah.
But I really can say I tuned into a couple games. I was like, let me see if it's real.
Yeah.
exaggeration to say that she's the most monumental figure the WNBA has ever seen. One glimpse of her in action, and anyone will instantly understand why.
Wheeler finds Clark.
Ooh, that's deep from the logo.
The so-called GOAT of the WNBA, however, Diana Taurasi, seems to harbor some jealousy towards Caitlin Clark, making some controversial remarks about her.
Hey, I'm taking Paige. Next question.
Diana Taurasi has been attempting.
It's like, yo, the older females seem like it was so much animosity to her because she came and kicked out doors that they didn't. I remember her being in the WNBA, but I wasn't watching her like I was watching hers. I would catch her every now and again.
Yeah.
But she put eyes on the game. Somebody's putting eyes on your game, making it bigger globally. Why would you have an issue for that? Because I'm pretty sure you were trying to do the same thing when you was in the game.
Well, that's just it. Everybody wants to be the one.
Yeah.
The one that wears it on their chest.
Yes.
Like with the cape and all.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody like that, the face of the league.
Yeah.
And it just, you know, everybody can't be the one.
Yeah, it always seems like the older generation be hating on the younger
And that's what it
generation.
just ends up being. It's like, I can't even say it seems like they just be hating. You know what I mean? Because it in all reality, they wanted it to be them.
Yeah.
But I hear what you're saying because it makes sense. You just want to see the progression.
Yeah. Of the sport.
Attempting to divert the spotlight from Caitlin Clark and redirect it towards herself.
Because you were young yourself, and tell me if I'm wrong, weren't you named to the roster as soon as you graduated, right? You were young.
Yeah, after I won 3 national championships in a row, I was named.
Jeez. So how?
She gotta throw that shot out there.
Big flex.
You know, after I won 3 of them things. You
3 in a row. 3 in a row.
Young.
Yeah, after I won
she
3
played for
national
the
championships
UConn
in a row,
Huskies.
I was named.
Jeez. So how did you deal with that? I mean, I know Caitlin's on she's got.
The saddest part of this situation.
Yeah, she played on the Huskies when they had all the talent.
Was she back there with Lobo?
I'm not sure, but I just remember her from being with the Huskies. And this when the Huskies they was winning every year for like a long stretch. She was a part of those teams.
Yeah, it was different.
Situation is that Diana Taurasi was actually one of Caitlin Clark's idols growing up.
It's crazy. Idols become rivals.
She was probably one of the first women's basketball players I really grew up idolizing.
After Clark was drafted into the WNBA as the consensus #1 overall pick, Taurasi.
I know it hurts when somebody you so idolize is now taking shots at you.
Taking shots at you.
This is somebody I wanted to be like. I kind of molded my game after I put in work to get where you at, and I put all this work to get where you at, and then
Just so you could hate on me.
It's crazy.
Never once reached out to offer any words of encouragement or advice on how to succeed in the league that Clark had always dreamed of being a part of since she was a kid.
Wow.
Nobody gives me advice in the game. I wish.
Instead, Taurasi appeared
They're all hitting with the sink or swim. You know what I'm saying? You better figure it out.
Figure it out.
on live television and essentially downplayed Clark's abilities.
Hey, I'm taking Paige. Next question.
So you picked the #1 pick this year. You would take Paige over Caitlin.
Absolutely.
Jesus, this is crazy. When they put in perspective, like this is somebody she was looking up to, and these are the shot that she was taking. Like, no, she should have been the #1 pick. She changed the game. If you watched her in college, there's nowhere you could say that somebody should have been #1 pick over. The name that she mentioned, I don't even know who it is.
Facts.
Well, on June 30th, 2024, these two were finally set to meet, and Diana was about to get a front row seat to the biggest thing that has ever happened to women's basketball.
It is incredible the economic impact that one person who has disrupted our ecosystem.
Facts.
June 30th was a blistering day in Phoenix,
Dang,
with temperatures climbing above 110 degrees Fahrenheit.
Dang.
The local weather station warned residents to brace themselves for the extreme
Drink
heat.
a lot of water.
Despite the blistering heat,
all you can do.
17,000 fans made their way to the Footprint Center, drawn by the promise of seeing a superstar.
Yeah, when I was sitting down in my seat all the way down there, I looked in every single corner of the Footprint Center to just make sure that somebody was sitting in every single seat, and they are.
Sold out.
For Caitlin, it was just another day at the office, seeing the excitement of her fans and signing autographs for everyone who came to watch her perform. For Diana Taurasi, however, even with her 20-year career, this was arguably the most significant WNBA game she had ever been a part of.
It's crazy.
In front of the largest crowd.
I'm about to say that. I'm pretty sure it's the first time she was in a crowd this large. You should be embracing what this girl is bringing to the game, the eyeballs she put into the game, even to watch you play.
Since 1997.
What about
Don't miss the moment.
That's 1997.
I mean, she was witnessing unprecedented moments in her WNBA career, such as front row tickets selling for $2,000
damn.
each.
court sides were going for as high as $2,000
Crazy.
for the front row.
Oh, Devin Booker.
To put things
Phoenix
in
Suns.
perspective, the Minnesota Lynx, the top team in the Western Conference and one of the most popular in the WNBA, typically sells courtside tickets for about
Crazy.
$257.
10 times as much.
Anyway, DT grasped the significance of this game and recognized that history was unfolding in real time as she introduced herself to the one and only. To kick off the game, Diana couldn't have been
EG out,
happier. She was in complete control, getting whatever she wanted whenever she wanted. Not only was she scoring effortlessly,
Oh, she
but she
pulling
was
up
also
some
piling
deep,
up
too.
assists. And when I say
Bang, bang.
piling up assists, I mean simply passing to 6'9" Brittany Griner, who towered over everyone on the court like a character straight out of Attack on Titan.
Oh, Brittany Griner, fresh out of
Oh,
Russia.
and just a quick side note, this was the first full WNBA game where I've watched Brittany Griner play. And the first thought that struck me was how crazy she was to claim she could take on DeMarcus Cousins, especially when Cousins was in his prime, pre-injury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna use that to fuel this. I mean, I'm better, but and I know that kind of gets at him, but it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, DeMarcus Cousins in Sacramento was a monster.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he was different.
At one time, he was labeled the best center in the NBA. So if you think you could go head to head with the best center in the NBA, you're bugging.
You're bugging.
It's okay, little man.
As I watched more of her game, it became clear that there's really no comparison at all. Cousins would have eaten her for breakfast.
Oh, snaps.
So I just wanted to
No
throw this
comparison
out there.
at all.
That was my first impression after seeing BG play a full game, was that her claim was absolutely crazy.
Oh, snap. Kawhi Leonard.
Anyway, back to her teammate, Diana Taurasi. As I mentioned earlier, she started strong, but as the game progressed, she began to feel pressure and truly experience the full extent of the Caitlin Clark hype.
He's come from above the break. Here's
It's like she about to pull up.
Still trying to find her rhythm.
I know it. Squack up. Whole lap. Whole lap.
Sheesh, guys.
Look at the tape.
Yeah.
Not long after that, DT must have been even more stunned as Caitlin left everyone in awe by
Hey, got a double
completely
take,
breaking the
double
ankles of her
tainer.
teammate.
Rebecca Allen. She dropped Allen.
Touch the ground.
Oh, I like that.
Touch the ground.
Rebecca Allen.
Oh, that's crazy.
She dropped
Oh,
Allen.
she missed the shot.
When I saw that, the first thought that crossed my mind was, what if that had been Diana, and what if the shot had gone in?
Stop and go on it. Hit the emergency brake on this.
After the Mercury's hot start, Caitlin and the Fever began
She
mounting
pulling
a
up from
comeback.
right there.
Quickly up court. Boston running the floor for the
That was
layup.
crazy.
Nice.
And here come the Fever.
That's how you play it. I was anticipating her to pull up. So they was anticipating to pull up. I'm hit you with the hezzy and I'm going to go.
And I'm going to go.
Facts.
Start, Caitlin and the Fever began mounting a comeback.
quickly up court.
No look,
Austin
too.
running the floor for the layup, and here come the Fever.
Fever getting
Taurasi
hot.
made an effort to respond to Caitlin's performance at the end of the first quarter.
She
but
gonna
it
hit
didn't
that?
pan out the way she
Oh, I'm
wanted.
about to say.
At this point in the game, Taurasi was beginning to feel the heat. Outside, it was over 110 degrees Fahrenheit, but inside, the heat was even more
Age getting
intense,
to her.
and we all know why.
She got them young ladies she used to have.
Anyway, Caitlin began to heat up, and the more she did, the more I wondered why this
That was
WNBA
crazy.
player made this bold
crazy.
statement.
Who plays the style that how?
What
Caitlin
is the
plays?
style? Just threes?
Wow. It's
What
not
is her-
just threes.
What is her style?
But back to DT. Overall, she played a decent game, but I was quite disappointed in her performance, and here's why. Despite being the quote-unquote GOAT of the WNBA, she appeared afraid of Caitlin throughout the game. From what I saw, she only challenged Caitlin once, and that was during a pick and roll where it seemed that Caitlin
she
made
stripped
a clean
her.
steal, but the referee
Snatches.
called a foul. Honestly, after rewatching that several
That was a
times,
clean
I
strip.
still didn't see a foul.
That's a
It
clean
seemed
strip.
like the refs were unfairly targeting Caitlin once again. And speaking of the refs going against Caitlin, earlier in the game, they called this an offensive foul on her, which was obviously ridiculous.
I don't see how that's an offensive foul to me. That is a defensive foul.
I didn't get that one.
She was all over.
There's no way that was an offensive foul. I was looking to see if she extended her hand or something. The hand wasn't even extended or nothing, and the girl jumped into her. So I don't see how that was a foul, but I could see why he's saying that the rest was against her on a play like that.
On a play like that?
Yeah.
I don't see how that's an offensive foul to me. That is a defensive foul.
I didn't get that one either.
Fans continue to criticize
She didn't
WNBA
even jump
referees
into
for
her or
their
nothing.
controversial calls against Caitlin. Anyway, another reason for my disappointment in Taurasi was that, despite her passive-aggressive talk about Caitlin, she didn't want any of the smoke and stayed as far away from Caitlin as she could. Time and time, she
And when
had
no
the
smoke.
opportunity to defend Caitlin, but chose not to. Take this play, for instance.
When you just see your teammate ankle broke
Yeah. You got to step up.
in front of the largest crowd since 1997.
You gotta
NBA
step
players is in the building. You don't want that smoke. You don't want to be the next one on the
You
poster.
don't want to be
You just see somebody get put on the poster.
trying to stand back up.
Had the opportunity to defend Caitlin, but chose not to. Take this play, for instance. Instead of taking on the challenge of guarding the player she claimed would struggle against grown women, she passed the defensive assignment to her teammate. This happened pretty much every time she matched up against Caitlin.
It's crazy.
Now, I get it. Her teammate is a better defender, but come on. If you're the GOAT, you have to act like it.
Right.
Michael Jordan never shied away from defending Kobe, even
At all.
when he was with the Wizards and Kobe was in his athletic prime. Perhaps she didn't want to risk embarrassment or suffer the same fate as her teammate with the
That's what
broken
I said.
ankle. Maybe the pressure of 17,000 fans in the stands was too overwhelming for
Makes
her.
a difference.
But regardless, she shied
It
away from
does
the
make a
challenge, which was what I was waiting to see all game. To make matters worse for Diana, Caitlin continued to bring the heat. For instance, DT missed a three-pointer, only for
Fast
Caitlin to
break.
take it up the court
No!
and nail a stunning three from the logo.
I know that hurt when you miss his shot and she just come pull up almost a couple of feet from side the logo and hit it, nothing but net.
This is just disrespectful.
She was like, this how you supposed to shoot that shot.
Pure.
For Caitlin to take it up the court and nail a stunning
That's
three
crazy.
from the logo.
Pure. Just
Then on the very next play, Caitlin baited her into a steal and followed it up with a perfectly executed assist to her teammate. For someone whose game Taurasi claimed wouldn't translate, Caitlin was
Look like
making
it
her look
translated
like
to me.
barbecue
translate well to
chicken. Diana's worst nightmare was unfolding. How can you talk smack on national television only to get outplayed by the very girl you had been downplaying the whole time? To make matters worse for her,
It's like they say, stuff look different on TV than when you're in person. When
Yeah.
you watching people on TV, you be like, I could guard him or something like that. But when you see it in real life and you just see what
It's
happened to
real.
your teammate, like,
It's real.
I don't want no problem.
I don't want none of that smoke.
Diana literally had the game in her hands. The Phoenix Mercury were up by 15 points at one point in the second half, only for Caitlin to spearhead the comeback.
Dang.
Caitlin Clark catalyzing a comeback here for the Fever.
You know when stuff like that happen, when people got a big lead and you start coming back, they start to get tight. You can't play like they used to play when it's free flowing and that we was up by 15.
Absolutely.
Stuff start getting tight. Every bucket, every possession means that much more. The lights get a little bit brighter.
They get a little bit brighter.
I know it's hot outside, but get a little bit hotter.
The breathing different.
Yeah.
Adding insult to injury, Diana played a huge role on why her team lost. One play, for example, after missing a three-pointer, she failed to get back on defense quickly enough, leading to a flagrant foul, penalty 1, which granted Indiana 2 free throws and possession. As the game winded down as well, Diana had the chance to extend her team's lead, but managed only one.
When you see shots coming up short like that, it's your legs. That's why she couldn't get back on defense. It's a lot of pressure. I'm pretty sure the crowd there, you put a lot of energy in the first couple of quarters, and then from the way you was running, it looked like you didn't have too much left in the tank.
The gas tank was empty.
Yeah.
Out of 2 free throws. On the other end of the court, she watched Caitlin calmly sink both of her free throws.
Young legs.
At that
That's the
moment,
difference.
there were no more smirks on Diana's face. While many thoughts
Look
must
at
have
that
been
face.
racing through her mind, one
Look
can't
at that
help
face.
but wonder if she regretted her choice of words.
I'm taking Paige. Next question.
Diana, who had downplayed Clark, was now facing defeat in front of 17,000 fans and
Yeah,
probably
crazy. Yeah,
millions
this is
more
clap it up,
watching on
like,
television.
Yeah.
To
Run
make
your mouth
matters
now.
worse, the Fever hadn't beaten a team with a winning record all season. Yet, their first victory came against Diana.
Wow.
DT had
Big
talked
game
and talk, and now she was being humbled.
Yeah.
After
Humble
the
pie.
game, she finally had some nice things to say about Caitlin.
What Caitlin's been able to do in her short career so far has just been nothing short of remarkable.
Anyway,
that's how you want it to go. People running in their mouth and then they start to respect you because they seen you live and you
Firsthand.
You are the real deal.
You everything they said you were.
Yeah, I didn't think you were, but you proved to me that you were. This is a crazy video. I can't wait to do more videos like this. Before we get out this video, if you didn't like, subscribe, leave a comment. Make sure you do that. Until our next video, it's Trey TV.
And it's Lamar Wilson.
And we out.